Hello, Schulering, and welcome to another episode of the Schulering Hub podcast, talking hospitality. But today we are not really talking hospitality. Today we are more talking Schulering. We decided to get our team together and talk to you so we can introduce ourselves and tell you how our journey with Schulering started. Unfortunately, we don't have Felipe with us today. He is with family duties. Family comes first. Maybe we can get him the next time. But I have with me Carlo and Yevgeniya. So just say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hola. Now both of us are in Spain, so we can say hola officially.
Hola.
Yeah, let's
Barcelona.
Well, let's try to keep in English because of the subtitles. But
I would do subtitles, don't worry. I can deal with that.
yeah, there you go. Because Jenna, let's start with you then, Jenna. Let's start with you as you are already introducing yourself and what you do. So tell our listeners here, introduce yourself and describe your role here.
Well, hola everybody. Once again. Well, my name is Yevgeniya Tyumina. My main role is content creator manager, yes. But currently, I'm mostly focused on the technical edition of the podcast. So let's say Mauricio is the talking head, and I'm everything what's behind the technical part of creation of the podcast. It's all me. And what else do I do? Well, my role is to create content out of the podcast. Like now, this is our main resource of receiving information from our guests. Yes, and I need to create the videos. I also post the content in our social media and LinkedIn, mainly on LinkedIn and Instagram. We share this role with Felipe. What I need to do, I need to show Schulering to the world via the content. Yes, so that's what I'm doing in Schulering. That's the question, right?
No, you're right. That's what you do. And you can tell about yourself.
Yes. So my name is Carlo de Leeuw. Some of you might know me. And my role within Schulering is the community manager. What that role includes is basically ensuring that the people part of our community have a platform to share their ideas with, all focused on the hospitality, of course, that they feel empowered, welcomed, and eventually we would like to take this community to the next level. How that is going to look, we might talk about it a bit before, but definitely stay tuned. Next to this role in the future, I also want to see what I can do in business development that connects more with my day-to-day job. And I'm learning a lot on that now. And hopefully I can apply this on us as well and see where our opportunities are to help out the hospitality industry.
That's awesome too, Carlo. And just using the gap here, I introduce Felipe as he's not here. So Felipe is our marketing director and he plans how Yevgeniya will distribute the content that she creates. So unfortunately he could be here, so just in a very short, Felipe, next time you introduce yourself. And myself, I'm Mauricio Schuler, and I am the director of Schulering. I come up most with the development of platform, the products, the ideas that we want to serve and connect with you, with our hoteliers, with our consultants. And I'm also the person that is going after our guests for the podcast and talk to most of you via LinkedIn or via email. So if you listened before to our podcast, you have probably recognized my weird accent here. And yeah, that's basically what I do. We do try to create a lot. We have a lot planned for our communities, a lot planned for hoteliers, and developing that technology is basically my main urgency nowadays. And we are hoping that in the next few weeks, we're going to have awesome news to share with you. But so let's just get a little bit to tell what you guys were doing before you start Schulering. What did you guys do?
I was doing basically what I'm doing now. So I didn't tell it at the beginning, but professional videographer. And I'm working now with the videos. I create the videos, animations. And at this moment, before Schulering, I was doing exactly the same thing. So, but yeah, well, just the only difference is between what I'm doing now and what I did before, that I developed not a bit, I developed a lot in my personal path. And I still create videos, but at a bit different level. What I'm doing now, I just know how also create engaging content and how make videos which I'm creating for me and for my clients, how to make it earn money. So basically that's the difference. It's a bit upgraded Genia, but I'm still doing the same thing. At the moment, when we started Schulering.
I remember I was working at Accenture at the moment, and I was going through quite a, let's say, development in terms of learning with a lot of different cultures, something I still enjoy today. It was very focused on sourcing and procurement. This is a field I'm not really, let's say, working at anymore. I'm more towards IT, let's say, as you look at the current day. And I remember back then that I was really looking for something, let's say, next to the corporate career, and to have, let's say, something that we would create our own. I think that is, if I remember, and that was one of the main motivations to start working with you back then, Mauricio, in an industry that was severely hit by COVID.
Yeah, that's true. Like for me, I was actually working with our family hotel group, doing digital marketing and innovation research, as well as managing social media for the group as well. And it was right when COVID hit, and we started laying off like a lot of people from the company, and we started realizing that there was a problem, there was a gap, that was lacking a space where hospitality people could actually get together, talk and interact. And I remember one thing that when we started, do you remember how it was Schulering, the idea when we started? First, the name was very different, right? It was Schuler Creativity Hub, something like this. And do you remember what we were doing then?
What I remember is our first chats were from your first-hand experiences and the people around you that were affected by COVID. And I think it was, one of the toughest industry to be in hospitality, transformed even if they didn't want to. But I remember we were really looking at like, how can we see this as an opportunity to help people? And I think at the beginning, we were not sure how can we help people. And that idea took quite a while before we understood, okay, where is it that we can add our value to hospitality experts? How do we connect them to hoteliers? And I think at the beginning, we were not sure where we would fit into all this.
But I think maybe we should also mention why, how come that we are all came together and why? Because as Carlos said, that at the beginning, we didn't know what to do. Even we have a different name, we have a different even idea, yes? Because the idea was Schulering now, it's formed maybe 1 year after we were already working in Schulering, right? Like after 1 year working, we changed completely the way how we going to work. But the initial core of Schulering, it's really like the story how it all started, right? I think it started that Mauricio had the idea to collect the people who has the same Schulering. Let's say I'm doing now, like, I don't know, these two fingers, what's the name of this, like ring. So to create this Schulering community. So people who think in the same way, who think, I don't know, like, what is Schulering? What is the Schulering at the beginning?
Let's talk, because it's cool to talk about this, right? Because actually what we've done is, at the time I was reading a book like from Simon Sinek, it starts with why. And I noticed that lots of hotels didn't have the why behind them. They just were basically rooms for guests, but there was no deeper meaning of why that brand existed. And what we were starting to talk about was how can we help hotels, help these people losing their jobs to actually reconnect in another way. Our way of seeing that time, was by creating a calendar, a marketing calendar, where consultants could help with special dates and they could suggest ideas for hotels on how hotels could actually use more of a meaningful sense behind what they sell, that was the rooms. And we would use a platform to connect the information that these consultants have with very practical things that the hotels can do inside the hotels. So that was the way of growing. And then because of another book actually at the time that was written, Mindset, and that continued to the learning, the continuous learning, the lifelong learning, and it matched so much with my family was in the past that I said like, well, that we can do actually something much bigger. And this is what you come here. We are not looking for people that think alike, because we need that diversity to actually grow, right? So we need that different, a little bit of polarity, otherwise we just get flat. But we are looking for a way to inspire people to continue to learn, to continue to source for knowledge and continue the growth for the teams, for the people. But in the way that we saw was a completely different way. It was quite crazy now when we think of like how would we even deliver that? But it was quite a change. But you said something cool, Jenny, because you said like, let's go to the beginning. How did we all meet actually? Because we have quite a few things in common. Like Felipe and I, we know each other back from Brazil, from Porto Alegre, but we lived in Australia as well, together. Now he lives in London, I live in Prague. But you guys, we met here, right? So tell a little bit how we met.
Yeah, well, we already said our story, Mauricio, in the podcast. I don't remember what was the number of the podcast. We did the podcast with me once. So Mauricio, you hired me, and you was one of my first employee when I changed my career from being a quotation engineer to the videographer, because as some of you know, maybe that I have a technical degree, that I'm actually an engineer, yeah. And then I decided to change my career and follow, let's say, what I like a lot, like videography. And when I was living in Prague, Mauricio was one of the first ones who gave me actual paid job. Because at this time I was already doing some video shooting, I was doing some editing already, but Mauricio was one of the first ones who gave me money for my job. And I remember that was 500 or 700 crowns, and I remember I was going like, yeah, my first money I earned with videos. I was so happy. So, but that was a long time ago. This is how we met. And then after I already stayed in contact, we did several videos, because as Mauricio said before, that this was working in the hotel chain. Yes, you still work in the same hotel chain. So we did a couple of videos, yes, and then I moved to Barcelona. And after some time, I received a call from Mauricio. He explained my idea, the Schulering idea with Schulering mindset, and I'm like, yes, of course.
We met through a community of football, actually, very different than focused on hospitality, but it was really nice to see a group initially started, I think, by people from Latin and South America in the year 2003. And there was a lot of people as expats joining this football team, sometimes leaving again, including myself. But I was a proud member for, I think, more than 5 years, where we played, in a Czech league, playing football. And I think the first time you really spoke about the difference you wanted to make was in the subway. That I was so inspired. I was like, tell me what to do. How can I join? Like, I want to contribute, I feel like that is something I can learn a lot about, and hopefully I can add something myself. And this is how the ball started rolling, to speak it in football terms. But yeah, that's how we met, and we're still in touch.
Yeah, that's true. And when we started, actually, we had a larger team, right? So because the idea was to actually help the hoteliers with that content. It was actually consulting, right, in the end of the day. Yeah. So like Carlo, you, because of your experience with businesses, you would help business to become a little bit more professional and have that better communication between the stakeholders, between the teams, between themselves as well. I think that Yevgeniya, you would help hoteliers to create videos for their own marketing, help their teams to create content for their own hotels. Then we had an Aklar that was going to help them with branding, if I'm not wrong. We never got Ana Clara's position very right because she ended up having to go traveling around the world. She's now in Bolivia.
Wow. I even didn't know this.
Then we had Ricardo that would look at the sustainability opportunities and help hotels to adapt the sustainability journey as well.
And actually, we worked together with Ricardo before. As I told, I was an engineer before. We worked in the same company in Gooder.
That's right. And then we had Felipe that was about actually not only marketing, but his idea was actually to do some building consulting, if I'm not wrong, because he is a builder as well. And I was going to be talking about hospitality, right? And help hotels to go through that learning and understanding why they exist. But then at some point, we pivot. But before that, what we had prepared here. Yeah, we should talk a little bit about Schulering, right?
Yeah, well, let's talk about how we came up with the name.
The name Schulering.
I wonder where it comes from.
Yeah, but this is one thing, right? Unlike what most people think, it's not Schulering because of me as Mauricio Schuler, and then I want to use me. It goes a lot deeper than that, right? Because my surname Schuler actually means the student in German, right? And when I was younger, I should say, my grandfather used to tell me that in Germany in the past, the surname means what people work. It was like the work was their name. For example, if you were a Bauer, you were a farmer. If you were the fisher, you were a fisherman, right? If you were the miller, you work in the mills. And we were the Schüler, so we were the students. And he said, look, I don't know why. I don't know why we are the students. About the environment, right? I don't know why we are the students, but there is no reason in life to stop being one. And he used to say that, he used to pick up in school sometimes, and he used to say that we are students, so we must be students for life. That's why I married your grandmother that is a teacher. And my father ended up marrying my mom that's a teacher as well. My father was an engineer, he became a teacher. My uncle was an engineer, he became a teacher. So my auntie was a teacher. So we are inserting that environment where stop learning was not an option ever. And if you think deeper about that, it's what is learning really? What's the goal of life if it's not to be, you learn, then what you learn, you pass on to the next generation, and this goes further and further, and this is just called evolution, right? So I cannot see another goal in life other than learning. So with that in mind, Schulering came as an easy way to explain lifelong learning, to explain the act of continues to be a student for life. And I don't know if my daughter will learn that mantra from me, because I was inserting that mantra. It was a brainwash. Everyone said that, she probably will. But if she doesn't, she will know where I'm coming from. She will know what the things I believed by the company that we are creating. And I wanted to share that with the world. Not everyone can be officially a Schüler, but anyone can practice Schulering and can belong to Schulering. So it's just
something to confirm your words about your daughter, because in our last one-to-one, sometimes his daughter come to the meeting, and I see how Mauricio talked to the daughter, and it's incredible. It seems that she's the part, Lily is a part of our team. He talks with her in the same way, and I'm sure that she's going to be a great person if she starts to get this information, lifelong learning, and how you teach her in the very beginning. I think she will be a great person. And this message which you transfer, lifelong learning, for sure she will get it. I confirm it. I've seen it many times, and I really adore the way how you talk to her.
Yeah. I don't like to congratulate her when she does anything. So I ask her what she thinks. If she brings a drawing, it's like, wow, great effort, because I like to praise the effort of doing something. I praise the effort, but then I ask her what she thinks, what she created. because I want her not to be looking for my approval, and my feedback is not the approval, but I want her to think what she created and be critical enough about herself, about what she's doing. So always there's an opportunity to continue to grow, to continue to learn. We make these mistakes with kids as well sometimes, that we want to praise their efforts for them to be happy, and we end up creating people with fixed mindset, that they are always looking for that appraisal instead of actually going for the effort of achieving greatness. You don't need to achieve greatness when you're young. The greatness is in the process, right? And I really want, because our values here with Schulering, if we remember very well, it's practice lifelong learning, to build great relationships, to share knowledge and to be curious. We like to be honest, open, and positive, and we like to embrace diversity. That's why we have a team that is from everywhere, right? Yevgeniya, where are you from?
Well, I'm from Kazakhstan with a Russian origin, so I speak Russian.
And you, Carlo?
Oh, I was born and raised in the Netherlands, but grew up with two cultures, as my mom is from Honduras, which is very different than the Dutch culture. But yeah, I think it forms you as a person, the way how you grow up. Sometimes you hear people saying they are a product of their environment, and I'm definitely no exception to that. And to create my own journey, I left my hometown, moved to Prague, and after more than 6 years, I moved now to Barcelona. And not saying that this is the end yet, so still traveling and learning.
Anyway, you also have Felipe, that is Brazilian, but a very German Brazilian, right? Felipe Schuler. And me, that I'm Brazilian, a little bit of German, a little bit of Italian, a little bit of French.
Admitted that you're a little bit of Czech too, because you live in Prague.
Yes, I'm a little bit of Czech too. But like, if we would actually come to talk a little bit of what we do, right? Why we create Schulering and what we do. Basically, the problem, right? There are three main challenges that I see in the industry today. That is to hire and to retain top talent. And this, everyone is tired to know. But that there is another problem, that's the academy and the industry disconnection. This being discussed quite a lot by the EUHOFA. But what it is, it's that apparently the investment of time and resources to acquire your certifications in hospitality don't really match what you're gonna earn by working in hospitality. And the time consuming to acquire your certifications don't really match with the time that you need to invest to work in hospitality. So the way that we see is that with Schulering, we want to create a way to learn and develop the teams that will be hybrid, so people can learn and work, making sense of the skills that they are learning at work, but also personalized, because people are different. They come with different baggages. They know different things. And if you put them in that box, that academia box, maybe they will just get that content that don't make sense for them because they already know, and lacking on training what they need. And maybe it's not even what they're going to use in the hotel that they're working for. So if you can create a way that's flexible, that they can, with their managers, decide what's the priority to learn and develop that skills that maybe they are lacking of and the hotel needs the most, they can learn, help the hotel straight away, make sense of the skills that they just learned, and do that while at work. So we don't lose people for the academy. We keep them engaged, keep them learning, keep them growing. And then it must be flexible to do that. So we must change how we really deliver the skills that we have in our industry. I see learning in 3 stages. There's the academic learning, there's the skills that we develop, and there's the work-related learning as well. So with Schulering, we decided to start with the work-related learning. How can we deliver that? So we thought about SOPs, the standardized operating procedures. So a way that the hotels can create the content that makes sense for them, the procedures that they use, that's most of the big hotels will have that, but independent hotels lack on, and get that documents in the staff hands, not in a piece of paper inside the drawer in the general manager's desk, but in a place that they can access. We at Schulering try to do that in a way that is accessible, that is interactive, and we can help hotels to create their SOPs if they never done it, or we can just host their SOPs in a cloud-based system. Yes, Genia, what else we do?
Mauricio, no. I just wanted to ask you if you could tell it with some examples. Yes, because you said, in a very official way what Schulering is, but could you give some practical example with two girls, one girl who went to the hotel, and then could you explain this, because this is more easy to understand. Maybe not all of our listeners, they could follow what you said. So just practical examples, it's always better.
Yeah, sure. Let's tell a story. So I told a story about Sophia and Lily. Sophia is general manager of a hotel, and Lily was someone looking for a summer job. In the way, Sophia was facing problems with turnover. So she was using countless hours of management to be actually training and retraining the staff that they were always hiring. But after 3 months, they end up losing that person again, and they had to rehire and retrain everyone. So with Schulering, what they do is they can create the basic standardized operating procedures, but in a way that introduce the work, introduce the mission, introduce the values of the hotel as well, making sure that the next person who comes have that content, have that SOPs always in their hand. So when they are at work, they don't need to ask a question. They don't need to ask the manager every time they forgot what they were meant to do. They can just check on their phones and find that information handy. On the other side, we have Lily, that in the case would be someone that is just looking for a summer job, but not sure if they will take that as a career yet, so they didn't get the formal education. But because of the personality of Lily, it was a match for what that hotel want to do. And normally, let's be honest right now, when it comes to service, we are hiring by personality. If a person is keen to do the job and wants to learn, and it's personable, someone that can smile and can welcome, they have the hospitality DNA, they have hired already. It's not about what they actually have as a skills for an entry level. So once Lily starts the job, she gets her SOPs and learn how the hotel works, of course, with the help of her superior, but she can go through, she can have tests, she can use that in an interactive way. She has videos, PDFs, she has documents to support her. And once she completes her SOPs, she gets a badge. So we have that instant gratification of earning something, getting the validation of what she learned. And she also can start getting the proper education from either skills development from a consultant that maybe is having a course about concierge, or a more technical course that can be taught online. Accounting, whatever can be taught online that's not practical. Of course, she can learn how to cook online, but she can learn a lot of different skills. And by that, they can create together a learning path. So selecting what Lily should learn first that makes sense for the hotel. And they create a learning path where Lily can learn from the consultants or from the academy. One day, we hope that the academy will also join us and put some parts of the curriculum there. And Lily can start learning what she needs to perform well in the job and earning certificates for that course that she's learning, or in a learning path that makes sense. We will suggest to hotels that once they learn and get the badges, they can have a little boost in their payment as well. So we all giving incentives for them to continue that lifelong learning journey. So that was the story. Did I answer to you?
Very much. Yes.
Cool. And like when we start, we had some initial challenges as well we faced in the first year, and we overcome them. Do you remember what it was the main challenges we had when we were building it?
If I look at myself, one of the main challenges is, let's say, okay, we wanted to help out, but how was a bit, especially for me, the question, because I like hospitality from a perspective that I like to go to hotels and really focus on the experience, and it's really important to me, and I really look at it, I think, with a very detailed eye. Same applies to restaurants. I look at the small things, the big things, and I always try to give it some kind of rating. I think it is becoming more and more natural for more people. However, I was thinking, like, how am I supposed to advise if I am not have been in their shoes? Like I think what you said a bit ago is that we wanted to help out maybe more from a communication perspective. And I still think I can add some value, but I believe like it wasn't gonna be exactly my experience. Yeah? And I think that bridge was a bit too big. And reading and speaking about hospitality didn't make me the most qualified person. I still feel like in a community manager role, there is less pressure of how to advise you, more connect the right people that is actually an expert with a hotel, for example, right? And we had an example in our Schulering community where someone that is an expert in their field could help out with some promotional material for a hotel, whereas I would have not been able to advise on the right thing. So I think understanding that I maybe lack that was one of the things I had to overcome personally. And now I think we're past that. Yeah, I don't want to be a consultant and telling hotels how to run their business when it comes to communication. I'm not that person. And I think that took a while.
And Yevgeniya, you remember?
Well, one of the issues which we fixed together with you, that was the motivation to continue working, because we started it a long time ago and we didn't even know where to go. And me personally, besides what Carlos said, yes, because I never worked inside the hotel, I don't know industry too deeply, yes. It was not clear what we gonna do. We had some idea, but it was like a cloud. We tried this, tried that. But for me, I remember that was a point that it was all good. I was motivated, yeah. But at some point, I lost somehow my motivation a little bit. And then I just thought, okay, I cannot find time. It's hard to find time because of some extra task in our daily life. And then I remember we had conversation with Mauricio, and I don't know what you did, but again, I got this light back, and I saw maybe I saw the real value of Schulering, where we go, and that helped me a lot, but that was my big issue at the beginning. And also, yeah, that we didn't know how it's going to be. We also didn't know how to add value. We had some idea, but we didn't know how to make it more valuable to people, to hoteliers, because we all had different expertise, yes, in different field, but how it's all will bring value to the hoteliers. I think that was another issue that we had. We had many issues.
It's a startup. It's a roller coaster. But I really agree with what Carlos said. I remember that the main challenge we were having was when we decided we can consult for hotels, and I was thinking but I see so many consultants there that they have so much more experience than us, and they know so much more. Why would we just become another one? And that's where we came up with the idea that we don't need to compete with consultants. We can actually create that connection. We don't need to be the consultant. We can help the consultants, and we can help the hotels by being the mid place, being that company that links them. And this comes to the second thing that we are building right now, right? Because the first thing is the SOPs, the learning part, that is the learning management systems that we are going to deliver. But first, and something that is coming very soon, is how to connect the consultants and the hotels. And this is coming very soon with our new website, where we're going to have the listing of proven consultants, so we're going to prove them, we're going to talk to them, we're going to make sure that we are eliminating the ones that are not real consultants. Just as coaches, there are so many, some are good, some are not so good. I had a presentation the other day that was a 22 years old life coach. 22 years old life coach, right? So really interesting that someone can be a life coach at age of 22, probably living with his parents still. But, so like, we need to get a little bit of this proven system. I think that consultants as well, it's not easy for a hotel to hire the right consultant that will work the right way. They don't know each other, and how can I actually prove? And I think that we can help a lot by creating podcasts, talking to them, and bring that pre-engagement to the hoteliers, so to get to know your consultant before you hire them. And I think that this was a great way that we could put us apart really as a company, something that makes a bigger meaning, that is to help in a way that we can help the whole industry and not just ourselves, right? And if we think about our past, what you consider as our biggest success?
I liked a lot that we started to create a community. We had some, let's say, visual brand on LinkedIn to have it matching with the community. Once that was created, it became more clear where we could actually add our value. And just this whole process of eventually, and what you were just announcing, is based on our experiences, that we should be able to help people out. I think we started a lot of helping out the industry, the people that were suffered by it. And now more and more, we are also thinking about eventually creating a good guest experience, employee experience, hotel experience. It needs to be improving all angles, not just one. And I think once we overcome that, it became more clear. And at the beginning, we were just focused, okay, how can we help people suffering? But it is actually way more than that. There is so many angles that we want to improve.
Yes, of course. I feel that's our biggest success, because Carlo is connected with community. I'm connected with podcasts. Of course, I think that's our biggest success. I was really happy and proud of Schulering when Schulering started to get some recognition along the people. And then every time I see the statistics, because if you remember how we started the podcast, yes, at the beginning, I mean, not that nobody listened to us, but we had few listeners. And now every time I see statistics and I see that our podcast gets more and more views, even if it's not like this, me, Mauricio, Carlo, right? Like 3, and Felipe, 4 views, but it's more, and it makes me happy. And also, I was quite surprised when last year we got like the 31st place in the top 40 podcasts in the world about the hospitality. And this year we got even deeper, like not deeper, higher. Yes, we got on which one? On the 16, yes, to the 16th place. And it means that people know us. They start to know us. They start to listen to our podcasts. They get the value from what we are doing. They wait for our podcast, and it's great that what we are doing makes sense. And of course, that's another thing about the UN Tourism Conference, when Mauricio went, and when you actually present our startup, our idea also to the world, that was a great success for us. I think like this, it's happened also this year, and this year, we see that our wings starts moving. Yes, and it's great to see some progress.
I wanted to ask the question to Mauricio, and then he would mention it, but now you already mentioned it.
Sorry.
So Mauricio, what do you think?
Maybe
because I just agree actually, right? Like definitely for me, the UN Tourism Startup Challenge, being a finalist, being the top 10 out of 130 startups that all working with tourism, not only for hospitality, but they work with tourism as well, and was sustainability and innovation. And in that environment, with so many startups in such an important body like the UN Tourism, and being selected as one of the 5 best startups for innovation in hospitality. Of course, that was an unbelievable achievement for me. I never thought. I applied as an experience of applying. Of course, we believe in the project, but I didn't think that we would be selected top 5. A little secret here I will share with you. The reason why I applied is because in previous years, the top 30 that were not finalists, just the top 30, would get scholarships to study in academy. And I was like, wow, if I can get a scholarship to continue studying, I would be so happy, right? So I wanted just to learn something, and being in that chance of getting us a chance to learn more about, and then end up being the top 10, top 5 actually in our category. I have an amazing experience getting to know so many great startups as well, and having that sharing that experience that they go through very similar things that we go through. You know, it's all about resilience. It's all about holding on when the times are tough, when things seem that don't make any sense. We just hold on there, believe in the purpose, believe why we started, and after there is always a sunshine and things come back. And then, of course, the podcast, you know that for me, it's a tough one. Yeah. From the beginning, I didn't want to be a podcaster. The podcast was an idea to really connect with people.
You are a podcaster now.
Yeah, I even consider myself almost 70 episodes. But when we started, what we wanted is just to reach people. Remember, like, we couldn't talk. Nobody would give us feedback on what we are asking. And we created the podcast just to talk to people, right? We just wanted to talk to them, ask the questions, and learn from them. And then we thought, like, oh, let's record a podcast. Maybe they will share. After we spoke to Juliana Han, the copywriter, she came to our meeting. And it was such a great meeting. She threw so many like lightning ideas, and it's like, why would we keep this? Why wouldn't we share with everyone? If we can share what we're learning, I think that we become a little bit into our mission, and we can deliver that as we want, right? Being that body of delivering knowledge around. And I think that we've done a great job so far. So thank you very much for the both of you for all your work. But if it comes to a turning point for you guys, did you think about any turning point in Schulering?
Turning point.
I have one.
From the beginning of times.
Yeah, from the beginning of the universe.
From the dinosaurs.
And it's not human tourism. Yes, I see on your face that you have some different answer to this.
Like, I look, for me, the turning point was a call with Fabrizio, Dr. Fabrizio, our doctor, that warned us behind the scenes. Yeah, like a good friend of mine from childhood. And I remember one day he called me and we were just talking about Schulering, right? He just wanted to know what I was doing. He's in Brazil, so we don't speak that often. And then he said, like, but the more you explain to me what it is, the more I see a platform. Less I see what you're doing, because that time we're still trying to do kind of the consulting part that was connecting the consultants with the calendar and things. But he was the one that saw, like, man, but I see this as a platform, like, leave it with me, tell me what you want to do, and I will design an idea for you, right? And when he explained the idea of the platform and start coding with his IT team in Brazil, because he's a professor as well of brain surgery in Brazil, and he's creating an amazing product that is to teach how to perform brain surgery using VR. So if you guys don't know Fabrizio, go to get to know Fabrizio Kleber. But when he started talking about designing the platform and getting me to talk to the developers, and I saw like what he was seeing, the way that we could connect, that was what really changed our direction, right? Because then we got out of that calendar that we were really lost when we were trying to connect with calendar. We were going around and around and around, and we managed to see an opportunity that really connecting with our main value, that was lifelong learning and connecting with the consultants and the people around. So Fabrizio, thank you so much for that turning point. It was really awesome.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. You remember that told that we were working like 1 year on one thing and then completely we changed the idea. But actually, that was really the point when everything which we discussed, it makes sense. Like we were discussing like maybe they are there and then like, wow. And then, okay, now we have a clear direction. Where should we go? And yeah, there's
the point where we decided not to be the consultant and be the platform where we help everyone to connect. Was when everything like was a wow, right? Was a wow moment. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Goals. What's the future goals for Schulering?
To launch the platform, to successfully launch the platform and to actually make it work. I think maybe the goal will be that we have clients like customers, like the hoteliers who are using our platform and who get the benefits out of it. When I will start to see the feedback from those clients who will say, "Which is amazing, it works," then I think that will be the next happy point for me when it actually works.
No, I think the goal is eventually to help out on all ends. I would like to see some statistics as examples and to see people changing less often the job. Yeah, that is an important statistic to me. I've been a manager for quite a while, and it's a really important statistic when it is about maintaining the good people, ensuring they are developing in their career paths, but in their own pace. Yeah, that is a manager that is enabling their employees with a platform to help them as a tool. Yeah, I don't think our platform is there to replace anything or anyone. It is to make some things better, smoother, quicker. So it can be about the hiring or people that need the right professional to do the pictures of their hotel, or they need their new right chef, or they need something about seasonality within a hotel, and we actually are enabling for them to find the right people while not spending hours of their precious time in order to find them. And I think once we will see some data in a couple of years, then we can say, okay, we helped out people. I think that will be the real objective.
To add to it, we need to understand that I think that the goal of Schulering is to support the industry in that evolution, right? And learning must be part of that evolution because we cannot go anywhere if we stop learning. With what you said about the keeping jobs, we need to also understand that like hospitality industry as such is not a career sometimes path that is logical. We had so many guests in our podcast that fell to hospitality by chance. Yeah. They moved around and at some point it became a career. And this moving around is because people in hospitality, they like to travel, they like to meet people. So this is something that the industry is actually evolving in, understanding that maybe the next generation now will be only working 6 months, right? They will only be doing that and then we'll be changing jobs. And how can we as Schulering support that change in the jobs? It's not an interruption of their career. So if they go to a hotel and learn the SOPs and they get a certificate about that, that means that they are improving their personal branding. They are showing what they learn, and they can do that. And they can do a 6 months job in the Mauritius Islands and then 6 months job in New Zealand and then a 6 months job in the Caribbean. And the employer will see what they learn from the previous jobs and can continue that development and can assess what they can learn and understand that if this is the nature of the industry, we need a system to support that to happen, right? And I really see Schulering in a position that we can help that to happen. It will help both the hotels to understand who they are hiring in a more transparent way, and will help the workers that don't need to be changing industry just because they never got recognized by the last 6 years or 4 years that they've been just working and traveling and jumping to places. So I see this as a goal really to keep the people working in hospitality for longer. Doesn't need to exactly be in the same job, but as long as you don't start driving cars with applications or delivering food, but continue to work in the industry, serving people and do what we do best, I think that we will have achieved the Schulering goal. And where you guys see the company in 5 years?
In 5 years, I would like to see it, like it's gone international, that it's used in different countries. It's already implemented in many hoteliers. Yes, and it's become like, as you also said before, right? Even like two people they're meeting from different countries, and then, okay, you went through Schulering, like everybody know it and everybody use it, and the hoteliers know it, and the people who want to work for hoteliers, they also know it and use it. So become new, not new Facebook, I will not say it like this, but like a Facebook for hoteliers, like everybody knows it. I would like to see it in 5 years that it's implemented internationally.
How about you?
I would say more a metaverse version rather than a Facebook. I think
global, right?
would be really cool and awesome to see, as nobody can deny technology. Yeah, a lot of people know all the buzzwords, generative AI. We need to do everything faster and quicker, and we have technology, we have robots. I think we need to not forget that it is still humans making definitely the difference in most industries. Of course, there are some automated processes and jobs will change over the course of time. But I think for now, what we are really trying to do is to help a really valuable and existing industry. And let's be honest, hospitality industry is so old. Like the first hotels, if you're going to read in the Bible, they kind of already existed, yeah? There was not a rating system, but people spoke word to word about what they thought about this specific place where they could stay over on their journey, wherever they were, right? So definitely not a dying industry. People love traveling, and as long as that stays, we need people there to help out and create the best guest experience.
Yeah, I see us as a mix of you two, I would say. Yeah, so I see us as a real hub, a trustful hub, where both, as repeating myself, but both the industry and the staff, the aspiring people that want to work, they trust that they can go there to Schulering to learn things that maybe it's not something that the manager asked, but something that they're just interested in. So maybe someone that's working the front desk always like to work with social media because they like their TikTok, they like the Instagram, and why not going to Schulering and finding a course on how to create content for TikTok and Instagram and learn something because they just want to improve, they just want to evolve. Signing into the manager, like, look, I have some interest in marketing as well, just in case you are wondering, without having to expose themselves with an email asking for permission. They show what they like by learning, by engaging in that universal language of learning. And I remember we had that exercise of the 11 stars once, the exercise, how we see the 11-star Schulering experience. That was a dream. And that's where the metaverse comes up in part, right? I've foreseen actually classrooms that in the metaverse where actually service can be taught, even though it's digital, but we can actually get an immersive learning opportunity of service in the metaverse. And we have that consultants or teachers or the academy teaching that through Schulering in a way that an employee can get the best of service from the best school and then learn the best concierge from another school, and actually not be stuck in one school just because they had to enroll in one, but they can pay for the courses that they want to learn from the school that they prefer. So making really, really flexible. And if we can achieve that, it's not all about us. There's a lot to talk to the academy as well, to talk about curriculum. There's a lot to evolve. But we are inserting that discussion, and I really want to see that happening one day.
And one more thing came to my mind. I just would like to see, as I said, I want to go international, and not to mention one newcomer is coming to the hotel, and hotelier, like the manager, asks, "What's your score in Schulering?" And they're like, "Okay, now you."
No, you even need to ask, right? If we remember how we foreseen is that the hotel can create the course about the mission, their values, and then when someone wants to work for Hotel X, the manager, the HR say like, okay, before you apply, just do this course and see if you really want to work with our environment. So they can do the course, and at the end they say like, yes, I want to work with you or not. I'm like, no, it's not what I'm looking for. And then we can filter that. So once they get that badge that, okay, I want to work, I learned the mission and statement, so I want to work with you. And the manager can already see like, wow, what type of certifications you had, how much you learned, and what's your review score. Maybe there's a review score. We never know, right? We're going to get there. But so let's to closing. We've been talking for a very long time. That was awesome. I love that chat. Actually, it was cool. We should do that more often, and then we talk less. But if you, how can we, let's maybe Genia, how can our customers engage and contribute with our journey?
Well, the easiest thing that they could do, and I would really love that everybody do that we put a lot of work in our job, in our work. We put a lot of effort, a lot of heart, a lot of love to this. And first of all, if everybody would like the podcast, do the simple like to share the post, that would help us already a lot. Because what we need now in this stage, we need that more people know about us, that the people talk about us. And it's a very simple thing. Just do one little like, do one little share, and that will do a good contribution to us.
Let's listen to the podcast, right? And learn from the people that talk. I think that this is the first thing, but after that, let's like and share.
Process already.
Totally agree, Zhenya, that it's being shared on social media these days already helps to make people curious about how we are trying to help, and if people can think with us or provide feedback in, hey, have you thought functionality that we didn't think about yet, and how we can maybe add this, it would definitely help. So recurring feedback once we have more to show, once we launch, and as well to think with us in the sense like if they know someone in their own network that could potentially benefit from it, to connect them with one of us, and then we will try and see it, help it out. And if we can't do it via the platform, we use the community.
Jenny speaking about the podcast, Carlo talk about the community here. We all know that.
Talk about Schulering, okay?
Yeah, of course. So for me, the best way that you can contribute with our journey, I totally agree with you guys. So start by listening to the podcast, because we have a lot of great people there. 65 episodes now, Jenny? 65?
Yeah, we just finished
65 episodes. So there's a lot of great people talking amazing content about hospitality. So it's innovation, sustainability. We talk about leadership, developing teams, marketing, sales. There's a lot to learn there. So please do engage, share what you like. If you don't like something, send an email or comment on the podcast even there. You can just tell us, look, I didn't like this, and we will take that feedback, because we are in that growing mentality always. We want to learn. We are always learning. We are always learning, always learning. But you can also send us an email to hello@schulering.com. We can connect with we.schulering on Instagram and send us a message as well. LinkedIn, you can always follow our page, Schulering S.R. because this is the business name. Or you can just text or message any of us on LinkedIn, right? And really say what you think, what we are doing here. And let's join us in helping hospitality grow with one place that thinks about learning and developing of the people. Yes, I think that we covered almost all, right? Did I forget anything?
No, I just wanted we should do one more thing, because so soon we're gonna have the 100th episode of Schulering Hub. We should have some special episode for this, maybe.
Party episode.
It'd be nice if you would also share ideas what should contain the 100th episode, maybe which topic or what should it be. That would be great, and then we will do it. We will listen to your feedback, and then we will do it based on this.
Yeah, sure. And one thing, of course, that I forgot, you can also go to www.schulering, schulering.com, and there is a form there that you can already, even though the website's not ready yet, but there is a form that you can already fill. And we're going to get in touch with you, because this is going to be a very cool tool for our community, for the hospitality community. It's coming very soon, so I can't wait to launch that. And yeah, Carlo, they are way too long.
So let's cut it.
Let's cut it. Thank you very much for the chat today.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.